As I say, thanks for joining me on what is a short, sharp webinar, which should last around about 15 minutes, looking at from chaos to clarity and how Synergist transforms agency reporting. Before we start, as usual, for those who don't know me, haven't joined previous webinars, I'm Steve. I'm one of the co-founders here at the Agency Works. I've been working with Synergist and in agency land for well over 25 years. Now, if you're here, the chances are this will sound familiar. You're scrambling to pull reports together before every board meeting. You're making big decisions based more on gut feel rather than solid data. And you're spotting problems weeks after they've already impacted your business. Well, you're not alone. Most agencies are flying blind, trying to steer £1 million businesses with guesswork, spreadsheets, and hope. But there is a better way. And today, we're hopefully going to show you how Synergist helps agencies move from reactive reporting to real-time insight so that you can make smarter, faster, and more confident decisions. Okay. So in this session, we're going to explore the different ways agencies can access, understand, and act on their data using Synergist. Now, we know that everyone in an agency needs something slightly different from reporting. So whether it's tracking job progress, reviewing team performance, or keeping an eye on profitability. So what we'll do is we'll walk you through the main ways that Synergist helps you access the insights that matter most. These will include dashboards, which are a much more visual, graphical way of viewing your data, job lists and job financials, which is more of a day-to-day view for tracking job progress, profitability, and billing in one place. Your standard key reports, which are a suite of out-of-the-box reports covering things like timesheets, work in progress, billing, recoverability, and more. And then finally, your custom reports tool, where we can create kind of more tailored reports for your agency's specific needs using lots of filters, groups, and charts. So whether you're managing delivery, overseeing finance, or leading the agency, there's hopefully something here to help you move from reporting chaos to clarity. And all of this is built with agencies in mind, because Synergist isn't just a reporting tool, it's the engine behind some of the UK's top performing agencies. And hopefully by the end of the session, we'll see how the right reporting can stop being a time sink and start becoming your secret weapon. Now, while that all sounds good in practice, let's have a look at kind of how it's impacted an agency that's recently implemented Synergist. So here's a great example from Commercial Operations Director. They've seen firsthand how the impact of bringing their data on projects and teams into one system has changed. So how did Synergist change this agency? Well, they moved from spreadsheets, disjointed tools, and guesswork to a system built specifically for agencies, one that gives them full visibility and control. Now, I'm aware that some of you may be aware of Synergist, but some of you may be looking at this for the first time. For those who don't know, Synergist is the #1 agency management system. That's not just me saying that. That was recently reported in the agency bench press report. It is trusted by over 500 agencies across the UK. And since 2003, we've been dedicated to creating a platform specifically designed for agencies like yours. So it's highly customizable, making it a perfect fit, whether you're a creative, digital marketing, PR agency, or actually any other professional service business. So why do so many agencies choose Synergist? Well, typically, and this might be true for some of you, agencies often find themselves juggling multiple systems. So whether that's spreadsheets for budgets, separate tools for briefs, pipeline, resourcing, project tracking, invoicing, we know it's all very time consuming, disjointed, and it makes it hard to get a clear view of what's really going on across your business. So hopefully that is where Synergist comes in. It replaces all those disparate systems and brings everything together in one place, like hopefully you can see on the screen at the moment. So you can see from initial brief, sales opportunity, right the way through to project delivery and invoicing, it gives you a seamless joined up workflow. So it's not just about saving time, it's about creating transparency, boosting efficiency, and hopefully driving profitability. Okay, so we're now going to move into the live system demo. So that I just need to switch screens, and I'm also going to turn my camera off so you can get a better view of the system as well. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, switch you across. Okay, so hopefully now you can all see my Synergist system. So as I mentioned before, we're going to start off with dashboards, and we're going to start with the personal dashboard because for most users, this is the first screen they'll see when they log into the system. It's designed to be role specific and laser focused on what your team needs to do their job effectively. So whether somebody's a project manager, an account exec, part of the delivery team, their dashboard gives them a real-time view of their active jobs, deadlines, time targets, and anything else that needs attention. So you can choose here which tiles you have and you can rename them so it's very specific to your role. So instead of digging through other people's jobs or chasing status updates, everybody starts their day with a clear, personalized view of what they need to focus on and how they're tracking against expectations. It's pretty simple but powerful view, and it keeps the whole team aligned and productive from the moment they log in. Next, we're going to have a look at something a little bit higher up. So the management dashboard is your helicopter view of the agency. Now, it's probably worth saying here is with all of these reports and all these views, you can customize and you can decide who has access to this data. So it isn't available to everybody if you don't want it to be. But in the management dashboard, you'll see a much more kind of clean summary of your key financials. That might be revenue, might be build versus target, might be gross margin, even things like earnings per head. So you can instantly spot things like top performing clients, keep track of invoice forecasts, and check on how different areas of the business are performing without needing to pull together separate reports. So it's pretty much a perfect tool for things like board meetings or weekly ops catch-ups. Because the data updates in real time, there's no waiting around for month end for you to make your informed decisions. Let's now move on to the performance dashboard. So this area is all about understanding team and individual performance, particularly against key utilization targets. So here you can quickly see who's hitting their time and chargeability goals, where there may be underperformance, and how billable hours compare across teams. So it's especially useful for tracking time targets on a weekly, monthly basis, helping you keep productivity on track without needing to chase timesheets or pull manual reports. So whether you're leading a small team or overseeing multiple teams, this dashboard helps you monitor efficiency and drive accountability all in real time. Moving away from actual time to planned time. This is a favorite for project managers, trafficking teams. So this dashboard gives you a view of what's booked, what's available, and where the gaps are, or where you might have pinch points. So you can filter this by team or individual, look at a week ahead, a month ahead, or even compare schedule hours versus availability. So this really helps you balance workloads, avoid burnout, and plan upcoming jobs with much more confidence. It's also a great way to justify recruitment decisions or explain delays with real resource data to back it up. Last but not least, on the dashboard side of things, we're going to look at the sales dashboard, and this is where your pipeline lives. So you'll see here a summary of pipeline value, weighted revenue forecasts, and conversion rates by stage or salesperson. So you can quickly spot whether you've got enough in your funnel to hit your future targets and which deals are likely to land. It's especially useful for linking sales to delivery too, because you can flag when deals need resource allocation or when new work might affect your capacity. Okay, so we've looked at some of the dashboards. Let's now jump out and look at another tool. So this is one of the most powerful and popular views in the system, and this is what most project managers, client services, ops teams use or have open during their day. It's essentially your live command center for tracking all jobs in progress. So here you can instantly see things like job status, time and costs incurred, budget remaining, and how close you are to the billing value. But here's the best bit. The job lists, as are a lot of things in Synergist, are completely customizable. So everybody can tailor what columns they see based on their role. So for example, if you're in client services, you might want to see overall project burn and margin. So the view that I've got on the screen at the moment, I've chosen columns which show estimated actual hours, and that as a thermometer view, the value of work that we've delivered against what was quoted. So ideally, I want to keep this number below this number, so we can check here that as a thermometer. In my view, I've also got invoiced, and then that shows me what that means in terms of net and gross profit. However, if you're resourcing, you might want to pick up things like burn rate against future bookings in the resource calendar, so you can course correct. So if I then change this view, and again, you can see I've got plenty of views set up. If I go to a resourcing view, then you might want to change what that looks like, as I said there. So in this case, I can see actual to estimated hours, but I can also bring in future hours. So actually this one here shows me that we're 93% burn rate, but if I include hours that we've got booked in the future, it's more like 143%, 142%. So it's really useful tool, and you can, as I said, you can customize it depending on what your role is and what you want the system to produce. But in short, it's a live role-specific report that updates in real time and lets you quickly spot anything that needs your attention. So that's the overall job list. Now let's drill into a specific job to see how that links through to the financials. So if we just jump into a job now. So this is a job dashboard, and it gives you the full picture of a job progress. And depending on how you've displayed your tiles, at the very top, you've got the key financials, things like invoice to quoted, recognized to invoice, actual to estimated hours. So it's perfect for identifying things like scope creep or tracking profitability and making sure nothing slips through the cracks. And for your finance team, they'll love this view because it'll give everything in one place. They can see things like committed costs, supplier POs, and actuals and work in progress. So the job list gives you the flexibility, role-based visibility across all jobs, whichever job you filtered. And the job dashboard gives you a much more detailed insight into each individual job's financial health, but together they hopefully take the guesswork out of job reporting and help you stay proactive, not reactive. Now, I know I said that dashboards are great and having visual data is brilliant, but sometimes you just want to have a classic report. So for that, Synergist has a suite of out-of-the-box PDF reports, which are pretty much ready to go. So there's no setup, no stress, instant answers to questions like, what's our work in progress at month end? How many hours have the team logged this week? Which clients or jobs are underperforming on margin? So you'll find reports on things like timesheets, billing, profitability, recoverability, and many, many more. They're all filterable, exportable, and easy to share. So they're a great starting point, especially for new users or for finance teams who just want something simple, clear, and robust. What's also useful is that you can schedule reports to run automatically. So whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, or you can set them to be sent by exception. So when things haven't happened, like everyone's favorite or least favorite report, the missing timesheet report, which is great for nudging all of those people that are on the naughty list. So these reports can provide high-level summaries, or you can produce detailed data for those who want to dig a bit deeper, chart, or maybe export and pivot them outside, or produce pivot tables outside of the system. During month end, they're particularly helpful for finance teams needing things like work in progress breakdowns, purchase accruals to journal into your account system. But for most agencies, we tend to find that these cover anywhere between 80 and 90% of their day-to-day needs, and they're always ready when you are. If we show you an example, so if I look at a profitability report as a PDF to give you an idea what it looks like, in this respect here, I've asked it to show me a profitability report for a period and to group it by client. So in here we can see the client, we can see total cost in this period, total invoiced, what that means in terms of profit, percentage markup, percentage margin, the value of work we've produced, and more importantly for agencies, your under over recovery figure. Okay. Right, okay, so we've looked at dashboards, we've looked at the job list, we've now looked at the standard reports. Let's finish off the reporting with the fun bit, which is the custom data analytics. So this is where Synergist really kind of opens up, and let me just reset this. Really opens up, and these, you're not locked in. These aren't fixed formats. You can basically create your own reports, your own views, pulling in any data you want. So these reports could be things like profitability by project type, time logged per service line, capacity versus booked hours, retainer usage, whatever you want. But you can basically group, filter, chart these, and once you've built them, you can save them and then also share them with your team. So you have access to all the tables in the system. And as I say, once you've created a report, you can see in our demo system that we've got client services, we've got finance, but all of these are custom reports that we've made, we've given a name to. So if I choose perhaps a confirmed capacity report, it will filter the report based on what I've chosen, and I can either run that purely as the data. So I want to see the number of hours, in this case by charge code, or we can chart them, in which case it will give me both a visual view of the data and the data itself. Once we've done that, I mentioned before, you can then have that pinned and saved, but you can also have this allocated on your own personal dashboard. So if we jump back into the dashboards, the final dashboard to show you is the data analytics. So all of those custom reports that I've created, if I want to, I can say save that onto my dashboard. And there we can see there's this report, which now is available to me or to other people in the team. So this is especially powerful for strategic reporting, especially if you're doing board presentations or talking to investors. You can create a clean visual summary that tells a story of performance without drowning in numbers. We know a lot of agencies who actually now have moved their board reporting to Synergist. So rather than having individual team heads coming with their own PDFs or presentations, you can preset all the reports you need on one dashboard. Okay, so that kind of brings us to the end. I know we've covered a lot, I've jumped around a bit, but hopefully that's given you a good view of how you can access data in different ways in the system. And we've looked at how you can access that using dashboards, job lists, financials, key reports, or a custom reporting tool. But for me, what it all comes down to is pretty simple. It's clarity. So when you have that clear, accurate, and accessible data in Synergist, you can stop reacting and start making more confident, proactive decisions. So whether it's resourcing more effectively, or pricing work more profitably, or spotting problems before they escalate, Synergist gives you that visibility and control to elevate performance across every corner of the agency. Now, if you want reporting that does more than just tick boxes and actually drives your agency forward, we would love to help. If you'd like a kind of a one-to-one walkthrough for your agency or want to explore what reporting could look like with your data, then we'd love to set that up. So please reach out. We'd love to continue talking to you further. If you want to connect with us, then obviously you've got our details on LinkedIn. We'll be sending this video out for you to share with your team later on. We have plenty of previous webinars available on our YouTube channel, and do keep an eye out for future webinars. But thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you found it useful. And if you have any other questions, let us know and have a great day.